welcome to another exciting week of Smite Esports. My name's Tom F. Banninger, joined here by the talented DM Brandon. How you doing today, Brandon?
Averagely.
Average, I've come to expect that. Just another cog in the wheel. Anyway, today's Europe. Yesterday we saw North America. That was pretty exciting. Barton Gotti held it down yesterday. Tell us about some of the matches we had.
So Denial, I think, expectedly dropped the 2-0 against Complexity. Complexity showing themselves clear ahead of the pack.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of putting up a three-way split in North America. Complexity still, it looks like, on par with the two former COG teams, now the name changers and Cloud9. But Denial holding down fourth cleanly as we see the new Cognitive Gaming lineup rounding out that third place slot, excuse me.
One of the interesting things is we take a look at the standings. So these are the point values. These are the point values of all the teams that we've seen over the past 2 weeks, not just one. Eager, 35 points, put them in the 5th slot. That is very scary for fans of Team Eager.
I was actually expecting that we were going to see a tie between Eager and Nomad, but Nomad actually defeated COG Gaming.
Yeah, I mean, so Nomad is Jerby's new team. It's basically Jerby and a band of players that are good and sort of working towards being big names in the scene.
I'm a big fan of Sasic. I think Sasic has the potential to be a top 4 and a guaranteed solo lane. I mean, the dude's great, super talented.
You've been talking about Sasic for a long time, and you know one of the players that I liked in the solo lane was NQ. He actually made an appearance yesterday in the North American scene for some reason, but he hails from Europe, and that's what we're going to take a look at today.
Well, to be fair, you know, he came from Europe. He had the higher ping. He carried that game. I mean, they didn't win the game, but NQ was the reason they lasted as long as they did. So shouts to NQ.
I mean, I've been on record saying that NQ is one of the more talented solo laners in the entire world.
Oh,
it's a shame to see him gone. And right now, here are a plethora of teams that he might be on this season. Trig Esports holding it down standardly in the first place. We said it last week during the random seeding. I don't think there's anyone in the entire Smite scene that doesn't expect Trig to be on top. But Panthera, Team Dignitas, and London Conspiracy, that is a mess where anything can happen.
I did not expect Dig to take down London Conspiracy for 3-4. I did not at all. Dig showing a lot more strength than I would have expected, really showing prowess to the Dignitas name. But London Conspiracy, though.
Right. London Conspiracy is an interesting team because I've always Suntouch is a good friend of mine. I like the guy, but I've never been super impressed by his ability on the field.
Okay.
Recently, though, in this mid spot, he's holding it down, and he's sort of forcing me to eat my words, Brandon. I've never been Suntouch's #1 fan, but these days I'm watching him, and he's doing the things.
For me, it's kind of like Kiki and Suntouch are both trying to fight into this role to show who's going to be the breakout from the swap. But Suntouch has the advantage because he plays all the male gods as well.
You know, Divios actually made a tweet the other day that he wants to take a page out of Kiki's book and just play female gods because he's so attracted to Bologna. But, yeah, going back to the European world of things, we're in the middle of the qualifiers, week 2, and today we have an exciting matchup to start out with.
Right, we're going to be taking a look at Wasted Talent here, going up in the first round matchup against Losing Road. Winner will most likely be going against Trix Tank and the boys on Trig Esports.
Yeah, I mean, Team Overkill, definitely don't want to count them out just yet, but they are going against the #1 seed overall with 100 points to their name. One of the more interesting matchups that I'm looking forward to seeing here, because the round of 8 is really where all the teams that have placed so far. I'm looking at this match in the round of 16, London Conspiracy versus Elo Fishers. I want to see who wins that.
You know, Elo Fishers came in talking a real big game, and last week they did not make it very far.
They didn't. But Elo Fishers is a team that I can't count out.
No, I guarantee that there's talent on that team. The issue is that Elo Fishers must defeat London Conspiracy and then possibly Team Pointless or Aces Club. Now, I would really, and I you know, like I said, just like you, I love Suntouch. I kind of want to see Elo Fishers go forward to fight Pointless because the smack talk on Twitter between these two teams is outrageous.
Europe is notorious for that, really. Europe is definitely...
It's just banter.
It's just banter,
It's just bait to mate.
It is what it is, but I mean that's what makes the European scene so volatile. Not only do they take the game outside of the lines and bring it onto Twitter, which is always exciting, but these teams also bring it in the match itself, so why don't we just get into that game pretty soon. As we mentioned, we're going to take a look at Wasted Talent first, and they're going to be one of the more exciting matchups. So here we are, Wasted Talent versus Losing Road, right into the picks and bans, and Wasted Talent will be banning #1 and the Shibalanki. I'm not surprised in the slightest.
So a lot of people don't see the strength in the character, and I think the best way to compare this is to go back to when Ranked Arena existed. when he was the #1 pick at all times. I mean, endgame, Xbalanque hits the hardest, plain and simple.
Yeah.
The only issue is that Xbalanque loses one matchup right now, and that's to Cupid, which is why Cupid is so strong. If Xbalanque is gone, Cupid loses to Artemis. He goes even with Uller. It's not super great. So Cupid winds up going down a little bit in this specific game. So we're going to see Poseidon banned, actually. Wow.
Poseidon and Thor are pretty standard bans. So Poseidon is a character that's really risen in the ranks as far as the tier lists are concerned.
I don't see it lasting.
The personal tier lists. So Poseidon's a character, and excuse my unintentional pun here, he really goes with the tide and the flow, right? Some characters come
not excused.
Some characters come in and out of the meta based on things that change, i.e. Cupid, Xbalanque. Poseidon's a character that just sometimes the pros feel like playing him, and he gets big, and then
people remember, oh, wait, I could just heavenly agility and walk away from the Kraken.
Right. And then what happens is people get unused to playing against Poseidon. They get Kraken, then they get used to it, and they buy actives, and then Poseidon falls out. So here in the beginning of this season, we're seeing a lot of Poseidon. I expect to see him fall out of favor a little bit, but the first pick, Artemis, is interesting. Athena and Janus don't really surprise me, but the Artemis is interesting.
I like this because I think Artemis Sylvanas is like one of the big kill lanes right now. They're two very strong characters. They work very well together. I would expect here that Sylvanas will make it through, but Agni to go up against Janus, both the top tier mages in my opinion, and then Athena, who is I think clearly ahead of the pack.
Yeah, I mean, Athena has been the public opinion of Athena has come and gone, but I think Athena has just been up there. Taunt and global presence are just too potent to really ignore. And you said Artemis and Sylvanas, as we see a Bastet picked up third for wasted talent. Sylvanas has been out for a while, and people are just getting better with that pull.
Yeah,
that pull.
It's a usable ability now.
Yeah, that pull was one or two people could. Now you're seeing people get it on the corners, and it's scary, Brandon.
So Aphrodite going to be locked in here. I love that. They banned the Chunga outright, which is really smart. I actually thought that we were going to see a Sylvanas ban, but with Aphrodite getting taken here, this is really smart. She wins every matchup in the solo lane except for against Chunga. And then Hercules is a 5/5. If he gets heavy hammered to start, it actually could be in his favor. It's going to depend on what they go for, but she actually does incredibly well against most of the cast.
She definitely does, but Freya. All right, Freya is a personal pick of mine. I like what she can do. I love how she's equal parts hyper carry as she gets later in the game and setup monster with Banish.
Sure.
Banish is an overlooked ability a lot of the time, but it sets things up almost as well as Taunt. But Brendan, talk to me about Freya existing in a world where Ao Kuang also exists. Why don't we just see an Ao Kuang here?
Well, I think the Freya pick was better because this is ambiguous. She can also be a hunter. So it leaves the final spot open for them to counterpick. Now, Chalk and Sylvanas get banned. Chalk versus Aphrodite is definitely in Aphrodite's favor, especially in the end game where she'll be able to connect to Freya and make her invincible, which is something you definitely want to see. Aphro actually does very well as well against Bastet, and it looks like the ambiguity comes out. Freya will be going into the hunter role as Serket will be going into the jungle to face off against Artemis. I really, really like that because in the end game, Serket can just blow her up instantaneously.
Yeah, I like that as well. And another thing, I've always enjoyed Freya in the hunter role. I think that, well, it's fact that you can't really box her. She'll just beat you.
Starting at like 8 or 9.
Right. Once you're into that lane a little bit. The downside of this team comp on the side of losing road is that they don't have a tower killer, though, really.
That's true.
You've got Serket, but that's really not really there. Athena is not going to kill a tower anytime soon. Freya with the purple buff, though, I think that's the most synergistic that you can get with that purple buff. I think Freya can do the most with that buff out of all the characters.
True. Yeah, I mean, so having her pick it up in the early game will be very strong.
Right.
Comp-wise, I don't think either team has a major advantage here. I think Aphrodite brings a lot more to the table than Chalk. But at the same time, you also have characters like Serket. You have characters like Janus that are very strong. Over on the other side, though, Artemis is going to control the early game. If she can get ahead, it's going to be destruction. Sylvanas in that lane is going to be a lot more effective than Athena in the extreme early game, so long as they can pressure it. And then Agni versus Janus, pretty even. But there's Bastet. Now, Bastet is largely considered the strongest jungler in the game right now.
And I mean, Bastet is a great counter to a god like Giannis. Giannis is a character that gets away a lot of the time, putting himself through portals and stuff to really jump over walls. Bastet is a dot-based assassin, so Janus can get away, and Bastet will still do the damage. I've liked this Bastet pick into the Giannis for a long time now, and excited to finally see the cat come online. Let's introduce two of your teams, because they're not some of the more popular ones. Wasted Talent on the left side in blue will be JoJo playing the Artemis and she'll be supported by Ataxki on Sylvanas. The middle lane will be Allures. The solo lane will be Death Panther, and Darth Yadic will be in the jungle on the Cat.
So, yeah, they're going to start. It looks like complete meta, no invades. Yeah, nothing crazy going on. Let's talk about the red team.
Yeah, so the red team will be Levi QQ and Serket in that jungle. Well, Kaspanify will be in the long lane, supported by Cheka. Farkrik will be in the middle lane on Giannis, and Unity will be on Aphrodite in that long lane that we talked in the short lane that we talked so much about in the beginning. Players have finally picked up their buffs and are headed into the lane. Agni gets the first wave.
So it looks like the Hand of the Gods was used properly on the right side. Serket will get to lane. It looks like probably a full health here. Really good start for them. Bastet on the bottom side, it looks like used the Hand of the Gods a little bit too early, but I do like that she started hand 2. She'll have great pressure going in, and there could be a camp steal coming out in about 20 seconds.
I've always been a fan of the hand 2 because it's such a short cooldown. It's 90 seconds versus 60 seconds, and that cooldown really allows you a lot of abilities. We're going to see Bastet jump in there and give a little bit of poke. So this lane is going to go the way of Shock early on because of the Bastet, and then later on, and not even later on, but soon, very soon.
Once the junglers leave.
Exactly. It's just going to go the way of Aphrodite. So Shock and Bastet really need to make the most of the situation.
Really just beautiful play coming out from Dark to start. And yes, he is going to go to steal those back camps here. Eyes on Janice in the mid lane. If they have an opportunity to try to go for this, it's going to be on Janice. Now, if Serket goes into this, she does have full health here, but she has no hand 2. Bastet should, going to clear that up very quickly. Nice. Almost hitting level 4, over an entire level ahead right now as this jungler.
And this is what Bastet sort of does. She doesn't want to fight this just yet because of the passive coming out from Serket. 10% is always 10%, 20% is always 20%. But Bastet is there to steal your jungle. She's going to be there whether she uses the pounce or not. She wants to make the most of that, and we're already seeing that. Level 3 on Levi QQ, whereas Dark has been level 3 because of those back camps. So good, exactly what Wasted Talent wants to see out of their jungler going so far.
Bastet getting very close to level 5 here, and remember, she is the master of level 5, one of the absolute strongest characters in the game. For that first ultimate activation, cats are extremely hard to deal with without a Hand of the Gods activation, but we're getting a very strange rotation here. This is most likely first blood. They've committed so hard to this.
4-on-2 right here. 2 members in blue. Artemis has no escape.
Bye-bye.
Not even Tusky. And Chaika, the support, takes it. JoJo goes down for the count for the first blood, just under 2.5 minutes.
I would really like to see Bastet and Agni block the path back to the mid lane. It looks like all 4 members are still standing here trying to strip some experience away, but in fact will do nothing but waste time. 3 men, 4 men backing here on the left side. While they did get first blood, they lost a lot of experience in the mid lane. I don't know that that was 100% worth their rotation.
I think they just wanted to shut down the with the Uller versus the Artemis comparison or matchup. The Uller needs to be ahead of the Artemis early on in order to really make that sort of matchup go his way.
Left side, Camps actually looks like goes to Serket. I did not expect Bastet to be able to drop that one. And now a 3-man grouping from the red team coming over towards the right side. They're trying to fight for this one. Hand of the Gods should be available, and yes, they will get it, but they're in trouble here.
Good stun coming out from the Agni. Very low is Levi QQ. There's the Cat's activation. Serket's going to jump away, thankfully, due to that 3. And that's going to be a safe jungler right there. Wasted Talent drops it.
That's right. Now we have a 3-man grouping in the mid lane, and I'm wondering what we're going to see here.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a little bit interesting. We're seeing the support and his friend go into the left-hand side, but Agni's still providing so much pressure. Remember what we said about Bastet and the dots on Giannis? Agni has the same thing with the passive and the ultimate.
That's right. So I'm looking at the items here. It doesn't look like either hunter has been able to finish up their Dev's Gloves just yet. We're approaching the 4-minute mark, and they're trying to get it done. Right side, Aphrodite just kind of hanging out, getting some free farm, not having any pressure whatsoever. I'm wondering if she's going to be able to hold this down long enough to be able to back and get her boots completely. As we look at the golden hand, she's sitting at 1550. I'm expecting the Magi boots here.
Support sort of invaded, just wanted to take a look at the enemy jungle right there coming out from Athena. Very heavy red on the left-hand side for losing Road, so Wasted Talent pretty spread out, but we have 4 members deep for losing Road, just trying to get those jungle buffs. So Wasted Talent, despite the fact that they're trailing, are scaring losing Road just a little bit.
I'm kind of wondering here why Aphrodite chose to go into Shoes of Focus. Now, you get 15% CDR, which is very important, but you're actually losing 35 magical power, which isn't a stat that directly affects how much you heal. Generally speaking, it's better to go into something like Chronos Pendant into Winged Wand, or Winged Blade rather, for the 35% extra movement speed and then higher healing overall. So this, I think, is going to hurt him in the early stages.
Yeah, a lot of players, when they see utility characters such as Aphrodite or even Chang'e, just try to think of CDR as quickly as possible. But similar to how we feel about penetration after damage, you need CDR after your damage or your power at the very least to make yourself an actual powerful character, to make that CDR actually worthwhile.
That's right. Right side, again, Aphrodite looks like she's going to be forced back here. She's full health, but the mana's low. Mid lane, we're seeing more pressure coming out from Bastet, level 7 right now, comparatively to the Circuit, who is keeping pace despite the early game weakness.
Left-hand side, great taunt. Levi QQ eliminates the Hunter, and right now Support's in trouble as well. Great screens being put on by the red team, just standing in the way, and Uller claims that kill. So 3 kills going the way of the red team, losing road. They're up by almost 2,000, just over 1,000 gold right here, and they're the ones that aren't supposed to be on top.
Right now, for me, I think the duo lane is being pressured appropriately. They're not letting Sylvanas and Artemis do what Sylvanas and Artemis do. And I think that's the reason they're being so successful. Athena ult gonna stop some of the damage coming here onto Janus. He'll be able to get away here, sitting about 200 health. He's gonna back safely in the jungle as the mid camps come up. Left side gonna go the way of red. Right side looking at blue, but I don't think red's ready to let this go. Losing road's going to make an impression on this one.
Here they come, jungler and support here to match jungler and mid laner, so a little bit more damage on the side of blue, and they earn it with that damage. Wasted Talent taking out those right side camps as well. Hunter on Hunter matchup in the left hand side. Uller level 8, Artemis only level 7.
Uller level 9.
There we go. So it's a solid level and 3/4 ahead for Uller, which is scary.
Yeah, I mean, this is not the position you ever want to be in. As a solo laner, it's one thing. As a mid, you know, there's mid camps. There's a lot of things to still be able to, you know, separate that gap. You attack from super far away, but when you're one-on-one in a duo lane that's segregated for a lot of the mid game and you're behind, there's not much you can rely on. It's almost hoping for a lucky misplay by the enemy.
And I stress this all the time with Uller specifically. The more distance between the levels, the harder his burst starts to hit, and that's really what he's all about. Here's the taunt. He's going to look for the burst as well as we take a look at Giannis trying to make something happen. Not able to quite deal it as Artemis gets out, but will we be able to see the losing road member get out of there?
Wow.
Athena taking a lot of damage, followed up by the cat jump. She's going to be safe as well.
Athena actually does manage to make it out, and she's coming back. That ultimate is available. Who is she going to blow it on? I don't... Yeah, she's coming, definitely. Yep. They're not going to really need this. I think the engagement is washed, but this should be a Gold Fury attempt.
Yeah, so almost 8 minutes in, Losing Road gets their 4th kill of the match. Wasted Talent, and this is a team that people had their eyes on coming into this matchup, but Losing Road proving that they're not ones to be laid down easily. A lot of damage onto this Gold Fury, but it looks like Agni all by himself is going to provide some resistance. There it is. Wasted Talent takes the Gold Fury, and they're not done just yet.
That's right. 4-man silence coming out from Death here as he tries to approach for the Circuit. She's very slippery and will be able to get out, but Agni not quite ready to let this one go. Finds a stun, but not the damage. Athena's going to get low here as well as she returns back to the base for the second time this engagement, but this time it's in a box.
That was a great play by Athena. She died, we all know it, but because she died, her 2 teammates sitting under tower are not dead. That's exactly what you want to see out of your support, so good job coming out of there, great self-sacrifice. That said, Wasted Talent is barreling down this middle lane, claims the first tower of the entire game, just over 8.5 minutes, and this is where they start to open that window back up, and they've claimed the lead, DM Brandon.
That's right. Let's take a look at the graphs here. Remember, everybody, when you get a kill, you have to take something off it. They kept pushing out the duo, but they weren't gaining anything. In fact, they wound up losing something there. Agni's bombs were allowing them to push in, and now the goal difference has been more than normalized. It's been taken back. The experience difference 1,700 down, but it looks to me like this game is once again even.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that I always preach, and one of the things that separate tenured teams from new and up-and-coming teams, it's the stuff after the stuff, Brandon. As you said, we saw so many kills, so many great plays, legitimate great plays coming out from Losing Road, specifically in the long lane, but they weren't able to capitalize. Wasted Talent comes, kills a support once, and gets a mid lane tower off of it. That is what you're supposed to do. Great invade coming out. The cat has to jump on back. too scary is the 2v2. And Aphrodite linked up. Aphrodite's starting to come into herself right now.
Oh, definitely, especially since Serket has a 2-level advantage right now. That's absolutely massive at this stage of the game. And Aphrodite, you know, she's putting into full CDR here. We are going to see the Breastplate of Valor come out next. Not going to gain much. Left side, Uller locking down Artemis with his level advantage.
Yeah, Uller's still doing it about a level and a half above Artemis, if I would go ahead and venture. Dealing good damage, and this is what we're talking about here. If Uller gets a 3-1 combo on this Artemis, almost as good as dead, or at least forced out of the lane. That's why you have to be so scared of an Uller with a level advantage. Artemis is just playing on her tower.
So double Mark of the Vanguard going to do well here for both of the supports, neither of which has chosen a Watcher's Gift, an item that has seemingly fallen out of the meta despite its, I think, strength. I think Mark of the Vanguard's ability to allow someone to jump into the Archer's early game and not take as much damage is just being a lot more valued at this stage.
Yeah, and it's curious to me, Brandon, that we're moving into that direction because that's something that hasn't changed. With all of the changes in the game, Mark of the Vanguard hasn't changed.
No, it got a 50 extra health.
So it hasn't changed. It hasn't changed in a real meaningful way. And this is something that Incontinentia has played around with before, when he picks characters like Chalk to really, because how it works is it takes 5 damage off of every hit, including minion hits, etc. So you can afford to be so much more aggressive.
You know, early
now we're
game,
seeing everybody
actually,
go it that way.
When Kali hits you with the lash, it just says immune on the bleed. TV, we were playing the other day, and he's just like, why is he immune? What is he immune to? I'm like, you don't do any damage at level 1, bro. Like, it's done.
Yep, just not enough damage right there. And that seems to be the problem for Artemis right here as we take a look at Wasted Talent's long lane. Not enough damage to take care of the lane as Uller still just running this lane. That said, teams are about tied, losing road trailing by about 300 gold, which is insignificant.
We're actually seeing no pressure in the duo lane. I really expected Athena to kind of jump in there and go for it, but same thing. All of the blue team seems to be backing off here with Chalk, I think, losing his lane the most at this point, considering his tower is almost dead. He hasn't really resulted in too many kills. He did get, of course, the 4-man silence, which allowed Athena to go down, but aside from that, it's been a quiet solo lane.
That said, that's pretty much what Chalk's expected to do, but right here, the Cat's taking a lot of damage. Bastet just nearly missing or dodging that Giannis ultimate right there in the mid lane. So good heads-up awareness coming out from the Kitty, and she's going to go ahead and back at level 11.
Speaking of levels here, level 13 right now, which is the highest on the blue team. You're going to see Chalk rotate in to assist Agni. I don't know if they're looking for a kill here, but the tier 1 tower is down. It's going to be very hard for them to shut down Serket or even chase down Serket, as she is one of the most slippery characters in the game.
Chalk needs to get back to his lane real quick if he wants to take care of this tower. As you said before, Brandon, his tower's at about 33%, maybe even 20% health right there in the right-hand lane. Chalk can clear the wave rather easily, but against that Aphrodite he also has to fight is a little rough. Agni putting the hurt on Giannis. This is like the 3rd time that he's had to jump out of lane.
Right cam's coming up here. It looks like this one's going to Serket. No trouble whatsoever. Oh, wait, no, she lost one. Bastet's Hand of the Gods did clean one up. Nice. Serket a little bit too early there on the hand.
Game looking pretty standard right now. Almost a full reset despite the kill count. 4-1 going the way of losing road. Teams clearing out some vision by the Gold Fury. Pings are out as they see the solo lane starting to rotate. This could be the precursor to a large fight, and there it is. Gets a good root, but not enough damage to come out, so teams are going to reset one more time.
Chalk in the mid lane, not ready to let this one go just yet. They're trying to set up, and Chalk's just trying to burn himself, or rather burn them back in the lane, and so far it's going pretty well for him. Artemis in the left lane smartly going to push as well, ensuring that they're forced to lose experience if they choose to pressure the Gold Fury.
I mean, this is pretty much what Chalk's goal is right here. He's built a Stone of Gaia into damage boots, and he's going to build most likely a Magi's Blessing, maybe a Hide of the Urchin, which I would rather see, but that's an under-purchased item these days. Chalk's goal is not really, he's not a Heartseeker Chalk, Brandon. He's not here to really do damage. He's going to look for those 4-man silences. He's going to look just to provide spacing for his team, similar to what he just did in the mid lane, and that's his entire goal in this entire match.
You know, speaking of items here, there are no Magi boots. We have 4 copies of Shoes of Focus, and we have some reinforced greaves.
Talk to me about how much 35 power is.
I mean, honestly, it depends on the god. I mean, on Agni, I mean, that scaling is
That's
incredibly
huge.
high. I mean, he is one of the hardest scaling characters in the game, especially at endgame. Janus can function very well, in my opinion, with full CDR, as we saw Na do in Season 1. But if you're going to build into that, I still would rather see Shoes of the Magi into the Wingblade.
See, it's a different play style completely when you're building mages with CDR. I like the I honestly like the CDR boots on Giannis. It's going to get your portals out sooner.
Sure.
In the early game, which is, again, especially against the Bastet and people that can chase you down, really what you're looking for. But I agree with you. On the Agni front, that's a character whose job it is to kill you. You're not going to see a Hebo with cooldown boots anytime soon.
We might in this game.
You're not going to see a Habwa with cooldown boots anytime soon because the job is to kill you. I kind of feel like that's the same idea with Agni. Here he is getting a little bit of damage on himself with the Athena. That could spell trouble. Good damage going down is the middle laner. And Agni's going to head back to the base one more time. That's the 5th kill for Losing Road, but there's still a fight going on.
That's right. Just barely getting that damage. Serket able to really just do a lot there. She's going to chase. Deathbane's already down. Oh, no. Bastet jumping out there before everything got a little crazy. Aphrodite is now connected to Serket, and they've got to be wary with Wrath of Terra on cooldown from Sylvanas. It's going to be very, very hard to deal with that consistent healing.
Yeah, that's going to be one big issue right there. Good hail of arrows coming out from the Artemis, just really to provide spacing. Wasn't looking for damage right there, Brandon, just looking to provide enough distance so that they could deter the aggression. That's exactly what happened. Both teams reset. Mid-cam spawn now. Yeah. And it looks like red team is going to pick up both.
No. Left side went to blue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Bastet was able to pick that up pretty quickly. Right side, however, yes, will go to red cleanly.
Nice
with
and
that,
easy.
I mean, I love the fact that Serket and Aphrodite are running as a duo right now. They should really just force the rotation from Chalk. He is not walking over any wards, but he will rotate into lane. When this is seen, they need to go for it.
Yeah, I mean, this is why you pick an Aphrodite, ladies and gentlemen. One of her biggest cons or things that people look down on her for is that she can only heal one person at a time, unlike Hell, even though Hell isn't a great pick for a number of reasons.
Don't do that.
Aphrodite can only heal one person, but
Right.
she can also make that one person completely immune. Protect the hyper carry from Aphrodite is my favorite game.
She can actually make 2 people immune.
Right. Go ahead and explain the intricacies of that ability.
Now, with Undying Love, when it's activated, it will last for X amount of point seconds, right? I mean, I think it starts at 0.7 and leads up to 1.3 or 1.5 or something like that. If she kisses another target during the activation, she will actually apply the Undying Love to the new target as well, allowing her to get 3 people to have at least some immunity throughout the fight. It's a rather advanced technique. It happens very little in competitive play. In fact, I don't think we've seen it more than 2 or 3 times in our entire Smite career.
Yeah, Kiki or Na pretty much pulled out one of the bigger ones. A kiss through the wall over at mid-camps a little time ago on land to provide one of the more exciting highlight plays of SPL Smite altogether. Right here, another exciting play. Stun almost going to come out, but not quite, as it's CC immuned, and the cat's going to be all right because of it. But that Aphrodite, you protect the Kali, you protect the Freya, you protect the people that are hard to kill, that are easy to kill, but kill you quickly, and that's exactly what Serket does.
I mean, that's how we saw Titan even get to Worlds. They were going to lose to Cloud9 Game 2 during the regional qualifiers to advance towards the opportunity to go to Worlds. And, Repicos and Confrey, Kali and Afro, quadra kill, finishes the game with 3 Phoenixes down, wind up winning. The same thing can happen here with Serket.
I'd be remiss if we brought up that game and I did not give credit to where credit's due. Defense wins games, and Ares and Vulcan played great defense against that Titan. So
to me, the best defense is a dead opponent. That one goes to Kali.
You can do 0 DPS while dead. That's Brandon's raid call right there. And as we see, it's looking as a raid call is going to be made by Losing Road. Red team and blue team staring each other down. They have wards equally scattered all around this Goldfree. There's the taunt, but it's just to get rid of the CC immunity. So this is the beauty of Athena. She can go in and taunt, and then 14 seconds later, do it again. Your beads or Magi's still aren't up.
That's right, and with that beads usage there, Artemis is a sitting duck, even at level 3. Oh, but look at this, Aphrodite forced to ult early, jumping out there as well. Janus going to come back in. Spirit Gun going to hit all 4 in the back as Aphrodite relinks up. No casualties just yet, somehow.
Bastet completely surrounded by blue uniforms, but able to get out. Stunned through the wall while JoJo picks up a kill on the left-hand side onto the Assassin. Great Artemis play right there, just spacing done so well. And with that kill, that's going to earn Wasted Talent a shot at the Gold Fury. And looking at the map right here, not too much interference. Red team has the ultimate coming down from Athena. 4 members strong now instead of 1. This is what they're looking for. They get the taunt. Great hail of arrows coming out from the Hunter, while Janice picks up a kill as well. And they're still chasing. Gets 1 more. That's going to go for the Hunter again one more time. And that is a 1-3 split. Losing Road taking over the Gold Fury. Can Sylvanas do anything about it?
Oh, absolutely not. No way. I mean, right there was 2 major plays that happened that turned that for Losing Road. First off, Janice not only getting the huge Spirit Gun to hit 4, but he portals himself behind, picking off the Bastet and pushing away everyone else. But what really changed things for me was the fact that Athena almost died, then she heals back to full, gets another life bar, ults back into the fight. Sylvanas in mid lane in a lot of trouble here. Janice not in too much trouble as he's going to be healed up. Tier 1 still might go down here as they're pressuring real deep.
They're pressuring really hard, and Sylvanas feeling it the most as he falls down to the wayside. That's going to go to kill onto Giannis. So another kill for the red team's middle laner going the way they want it to. And we take a look at that slash line. Janice 3-0-4 with full CDR, not even building power. What an exciting game for Losing Road.
That's right. Damage right now. Janice at 8,900 in second place. Agni still riding the top at close to 12K. But when you look at the graphs here, I mean, Losing Road has taken everything. 5,500 experience in the lead is now the first, I think, real gold lead of the game. That's going to be 2,500 as well. These guys have been playing phenomenally today.
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning we talked early about it, about how Losing Road were able to get a lot of kills and a lot of opportunities, but really do nothing with that opportunity. Now they're opening the door and marching on through 4x4. So they've sort of figured out that they have to get the stuff after the stuff, Brandon. They pick up the Gold Fury after that. They pick up the fight in the mid lane. They're looking for the things.
You know, remember, too, I mean, with their gold advantage, they're still an objective down. As you see, the Tier 1 and mid 4 red is gone, so there's 500 effective gold on the map to even out with, which is amazing. But at this point, I'm starting to think the comp is going to differentiate. Agni is too far behind to deal with Janice. Aphrodite is a clearly stronger pick over Tier, and when you connect her with Serket in the endgame, Serket's biggest issue in the endgame is that she dies too quickly. Even as slippery as she is, she dies far too quick. Her combo requires way too much stationary damage. Look at that, going right in, no problem.
Yeah, she's got the Aphrodite on her side to heal her back up should she need it, but here is the scramble.
Two-man.
Double man silence right there coming out from Chalk, but his team's not there to provide any more resistance. Spirit Gun's gonna miss as well. Looks like it clipped the Bastet, but not quite.
It killed the cats. I think that was to deter the cats.
No ultimate for you, says Giannis. Still 9-7 right now. Looking to change that scoreline are both of these teams. Agni dashes behind his Tier 1 tower. They want it, though. Agni gets the kill with the flames. Great path of flames right there, and Losing Road still can't get the objective with this wave of minions, though, Brandon. This should spell curtains for this Tier 1 tower, and 9-3 will stay the slash line as Agni picked up that kill with his dash.
Did Chalk not know about the team fight? Did he?
Chalk wanted to protect the tower, decided that. Now, let's evaluate that decision right there. Wasted Talent solo laner goes away from the team fight to save his own tower. That taunt's really not going to do much right there. 500 gold that tower is worth. A little bit of experience as well. Is that the right decision, Brandon?
It's hard to say. I mean, they didn't lose too much off of it. I think that Tier 1 was going down regardless. But after the wave was pushed, he was kind of just hanging out. He either needed to back earlier or start rotating. I think a slight misplay there by Chalk. Overall, not too much loss. Looking at Bastet here, placing down a sentry, clearing up another one. Very smart play.
I mean, so this is a really, really small but huge play that we see the pro teams do, and the amateur teams and people at home not so much. Your support's not the only one that can ward objectives.
That's true. I mean, especially at this point in the game, after 20 minutes, everyone should be picking up wards. If you have enough for 2, grab 2. If you have enough for a sentry, grab a sentry. I mean, at this stage, vision is going to win you the game.
I mean, take a look at the side of Wasted Talent. Bastet just put down the sentry, Chalk's got a sentry, and the support has a sentry, and Agni just dropped a sentry. Sentries are so important. They're a little more expensive, but they do so much more as they allow you to kill the other team's vision. And that's sort of the war within the war, Brandon, the war aura vision.
I think they're a little bit too close together, those two sentries, though. If it gets placed in the middle, they're going to lose 300 gold worth of wards.
Yeah, you definitely have to be careful about your placement and stuff like that, and that's something you can look at. Out comes Tusky immediately as soon as Artemis sees the ultimate coming out from the mid laner, so able to avoid that, but they're going to come around from the backside and take this tower down. Nothing that the enemy team can do about it, but now Losing Road looking to aggress. Taunt onto Agni with a great stun. Shield wall is going to hit, and now Agni has just a sliver of HP. Will he survive? He takes out Serket first, but Giannis claims his life and his friends.
That's right, double kill right there, going for Janus. He's trying to push in. Oh, almost walking into that one. That was very close. Unstable Vortex, not going to find the triple, and he's going to be a little bit lower in health than I'm sure he's willing to be at this point, but Aphrodite's coming over. Heal's coming up before that trap's able to claim that one, and now 4 members are pushing forward here with only Chalk to defend.
I love this Ullr play coming out right here. This tower is undoubtedly going to go down, so another bunch of gold going the way of Losing Road. Taking a look at the grass, they're now leading by 5,300 gold, 8,100 experience. They've got 8 kills above their enemy opponent. 25 minutes in, Losing Road has solidified their lead about a decent amount ahead. And I mean, this Ullr, I want to talk about this Ullr, Brandon. This Ullr has been able to pick off kills and provide damage from a distance without a stun. That's really what makes an Ullr player. Can you land your 3 from max range without a stun? If you can, you will do what this Ullr is doing. And we take a look at his slash line, 4, 0, and 6. Pretty traditional build right here. Devo Gloves into the attack speed boots. Ichabod, which will be sold later, into the Executioner. Standard Hunter build, but not so standard play. Great play coming out from Losing Road's Hunter.
Top side, we're going to see Serket picking up the speed buff. Next item on the docket, most likely going to be the Fire Giant. Now, as we take a look at the board, 7,000 gold separate the teams with a clear lead here for Red. Losing Road on winning road in this game. As you can see, they are just dominating. Ullr hasn't died. Afro hasn't died. Janus hasn't died. Fire Giant looks like it accidentally got started there. Chalk taking a lot of damage, but Serket's in trouble.
Oh, they're going to turn this one around, Brandon. Great silence coming out.
Bad.
And where you going? Absolutely nowhere. Serket can't jump if she's silenced. And that's what happened to Levi QQ. Beautiful portal coming out by Giannis to sort of provide the flank, but not able to do much. Now surrounded. Agni's got the stun, looking for more damage. But again,
Rapaterra?
The cooldown.
I thought we were going to see Sylvanas go in there for the Wrath of Terror. That would have been a 4-man, maybe even forcing the Undying Love fairly early, which looks like to me is still ready to go.
Giannis playing. That's why you build cooldown reduction on Giannis, Brandon. Those 2 portals allowed him to flank and then get out of the problem that he created for himself. So great play coming out. Beautiful portals.
So you're just saying that you should build cooldown reduction if you make a ton of mistakes.
You should build cooldown reduction because it gives you the opportunity to put yourself in an odd situation that might be called a mistake, but you can get out as well.
Okay.
I liked the aggression, honestly. It just didn't work out, and he was able to provide a little bit of fix for himself. Now, you take a look. Chalk just lost his tower, but before that team fight, Brandon, I wanted to point out, we've said a lot about Chalk staying in this lane. Look at that. Look at the Losing Road solo lane tower. It's barely there. That's
True.
because Chalk's been staying in lane. So
and
you win some, you lose some because of staying in that lane.
Taking a look at the gold, too, Chalk actually ahead in gold by 300 and hit level 21st.
There you go. So we sort of mentioned, we didn't really criticize, we brought attention to the fact that Chalk was staying in that solo lane and missing some of the team fights. Well, the upside is that Chalk is on top, but here's a question that I want to frame for you, Brandon. We talked about how Chalk is building this very defensive build. Taking a look at him, he's got Stone of Gaia. The Jotun's Wrath 4th item in is the first real non-defensive item he has. Is that really who you want to get to level 20 first? It doesn't really matter. The ult's going to silence anyway, right? So the gold is definitely a good thing, but we'll see how that progresses and if that will really do much. That said, Aphrodite also reaching level 20 now, so the point is moot. Who can affect the game more is really the question at this moment in time.
You know, Aphrodite, she has a decent amount of healing here with Book of Thaw.
Oh, yeah.
She has the Lotus Crown for some extra defenses, but again, she's only healing 1 person at a time. I don't think the Lotus Crown was the correct choice here, especially considering she's stacking physical protection against a team that's largely doing damage from Agni.
Yeah, you know, I like the Lotus Crown is one of my favorite new items. I with you also don't agree that it's on Aphrodite in the most best situation possible. Great taunt though, double, and there's the cats. Lots of damage coming down from the skies from Agni as well. Giannis claims a life in the scrum. good ultimate from Aphrodite to provide a little bit of health towards her teammates. And now it's sort of a disjointed fight. Two going on, one to the right, one in the middle.
Oh, whoa! Janice gets picked off on the right side by Agni, and we're going to see it looks like JoJo get picked off as well, just barely. Death Banner not ready to let this one go, but Aphrodite's healing might keep him alive here. Death Banner's taking too much damage. He's going to be forced to escape, but the back off's going to find it just as he is going down. Sylvanas trying to escape here. It looks like Serket's going to choose to go away. I don't see Agni escaping from this. He might have gotten a kill, but the rotation was smart. They're going to be able to get a tier 2 here because Sylvanas will not be able to hold.
And this has been the motif, this has been the mantra, this has been the theme song of every single team fight we've seen since the mid-game, Brandon. Agni comes through, provides enormous amounts of damage, gets a kill or a double kill, and he's just not able to do enough. His team gets cleaned up from the other side, usually by the Serket or by this Uller. Giannis picking up some kills as well. So, I mean, Agni is actually playing really, really well. But even positioning his dashes, he's gotten 1 or 2 kills off of his Path of Flames, Brandon, but just not enough to really propel his team to the front line, as Losing Road is just able to clean up.
You know, they lost 2 there for 4. They gained 2 tier 2s as well. That's going to extend their gold lead almost up to 11K. The experience difference, 13K, as well as you see 4 level 20s coming out on the red team. Comparatively to the left side, where we only see 2. Bastet still 17. Serket is very close to unstoppable this game.
Yeah, I mean, it's not all about that Aphrodite, but it's all about that Aphrodite, Brandon, just keeping Serket alive constantly and consistently. And, you know, just to highlight the point that I was just making, we took a look at the damage just before. Agni is sitting on top with 24,000. Nobody even close. So.
Yeah, Janice a good 5 or 6, maybe 7 unstable vortexes away from being able to catch up to that damage. A good spirit gun to the back might do it here, but improperly tanking the Fire Giant is Losing Road. A lot of damage coming through that shouldn't be, but they're still picking up kills here. Sylvanas goes down. Fire Giant will be grabbed, and they haven't lost anyone.
And one more time, that Uller claims a life with a max range 3. Beautiful hail of arrows coming out from the archer right there. Giannis quietly picks up a kill. Losing Road not stopping anytime soon. The cat's going to jump away. One more time, that hail of arrows absolutely on point. Can't stop talking about it, and they're going to keep sieging down this middle lane, Brandon. They are looking for the Bluebird. The Phoenix is under siege.
Looks like Silence is only going to hit 1 there. I don't know if Chalk's going to have the relevancy in this endgame to do enough. Mid-game, they should be burning down the tower, but they're choosing to fight instead. Chalk maintaining a lot of health there, but they're going to pressure forward. Phoenix should go down here. Sylvanas comes up. Are they going to look to end with Aphrodite? I would assume they have to.
I mean, they're going to try and look to end right here. Great kill by Levi QQ. Losing Road really still maintaining their footing. Where'd he go?
The old okey doke.
Where'd he go?
Hey, I'm running to the left. See you later.
DJ Pernick is sneaking up here and there as we see the shot completely disappear with use of that torrent. So great pull coming out from Sylvanas.
But look at Afro. Immediately kisses right back to ensure he's safe.
Great mechanics coming out from the solo lane support. Losing Road providing a lot of damage. That's 2 Phoenixes down. They're going to make their way like a typewriter to the right-hand side, folks, and there's really not much that Wasted Talent is able to do. Down 14,000 gold. That's just such a tangible amount, Brandon. There are so many items missing for this team.
Wrath of Terra on cooldown, and still they choose to try to burn down the Sylvanas. He's going to be able to live for now.
Great
Chalk
silence.
Looks like he's going to be able to kill here. No, Serket again, too slippery. Aphrodite able to keep him alive once again. All 3 Phoenixes have been taken, yet for some reason, even with healing and Fire Giant buff, they're going to back off.
They're going to back off. They're playing it safe, Brandon. I respect this. There's 5 members of the enemy team up. It would be a little auspicious to go ahead and just dive the Titan. You really need to be confident in your team's prowess to really be able to do that. And despite the score being 20-7, maybe they just want to be a little bit more careful.
There is a big change in Season 2. A lot of people overlook this as a rather major advancement technique coming out from the offense, and that's the Titan cannot take damage unless he is in combat, which means you cannot throw Kukulkan tornadoes on top of him or birds over the wall and have him take that damage. He must be engaged and attacking back for him to be damaged. So with that, they're not going to have that same kind of siege pressure that they would have had normally.
Exactly.
But all 5 members are rushing down here. It's up to the defense of blue with 3 waves of fire minions forcing the Space Invaders fight as well.
Yeah, Wasted Talent.
That doesn't work.
Wasted Talent trying to provide a little bit of defense. We're seeing the disconnect between the two seasons as Aphrodite tries to throw the birds over the wall. Wasted Talent's Titan is finally under attack. They're going to leash it. They're looking for the opportunity. They're looking for the window right here, Brandon. Where do they go? Do they look for a pick? Do they single somebody out, or do they just wait it out?
Just wait until the fire minions get there.
They're not waiting.
We got doubles here. Big taunt coming out of Athena, forcing 2 sets of beads. Aphrodite keeping the dream alive for now, but Bastet with a huge pounce. Ullr's going to be able to get out of that one. It looks like Athena will as well, but over-committing here is Serket. Luckily, she's got like 9 jumps.
There might be a Bastet on Wasted Talent, but losing Rhodes Assassin is the one with 9 lives as Aphrodite sits there with the ult and the heal.
So we're going to see more pressure coming through. Right side, big army coming through. We have, it looks like 4 or 5 gladiators plus 5, 6 archers. But Athena back there, Ullr's backed as well. This looks like a successful defense to me.
Yeah, very good defensive set coming out from Wasted Talent. What they did was they just spread out like a fan. They provided just enough Chuck and Sylvanas to sort of not really impact the fight, but just stop them. They just got 2 big stops in the middle lane and that left-hand side, and that was enough just to push the enemy out. So 34 minutes in, almost 35 minutes in, we're going to see Losing Road with a commanding lead, still not able to take the Titan.
Fire Giant has rescinded his buff and will be respawning a little bit under a minute at this point. Level 20 is pretty much everyone in the game right now except for 3. It looks like Athena has a 1-level advantage, 17 to 16 over Sylvanas, and Bastet still sitting at 19, 35 minutes in.
Yeah, Bastet's had a lot of problems this game. 5-1 it looks like right here. So Bastet really not able to provide much of an impact. Bastet right now needs to have all brain cycles on stealing this Fire Giant.
Yeah, I mean, that's what she's got to do, right? I mean, to keep her team in this, Wrath of the Gods is online for her, so she will have that hand 3 steal. These guys are attacking the area. It's not even blinking yet. They are really eager.
They definitely are. They're not looking for 5th place either. They're trying to take this one to the bank. They're going to pick up the blue buff right here, Brandon, just sort of waiting. This is the Dry Bear famously says, hurry up and wait. Right. Everybody's waiting for this Fire Giant to spawn because that's when they're going to fight for the victory.
Bastet's not making it. They're going to choose to give up the Fire Giant in order to defend the Phoenix.
All right, I mean, this is a situation where that's why you draft a Bastet. I mean, there's a lot of reasons to draft a Bastet, but I really like the ability of the teams to really use that Bastet leap to get that steal going. So it's a little bit rough for them, but they're going to siege down this right-hand side. The Phoenix already down, should be coming up very, very soon. We're going to take a look at that, but let's talk about that ability of Bastet to really steal objectives.
I mean, jumping in, right? If she pops beads before she jumps, I mean, that could be really big. So she could have just hit the beads, jump in, hope that she gets the steal, and then jump back out. It would have been very risky. If she got picked, the game was over, but she gives up the Fire Giant. We only have about a few more seconds here. The timeout looks like it's going to be over by dark as we go right back into the game.
There it is. Mid-Phoenix just dropped it as quickly as it comes up. Right-hand Phoenix also having a little bit of trouble. Left-hand Phoenix going to be taken out. Here's the fight. Agni throwing the bombs over the wall. Absolutely fantastic distribution of damage, just equally. Aphrodite can deal with a single target, but not the entire team, and that's what Agni's trying to do. Pressure all 5 members so that they have to peel back and retreat. That's exactly what's going to happen. That said, Brandon, health per 5 is on that Fire Giant buff.
That's right, a lot of it too. I mean, not to mention how much healing they have between Aphrodite and, you know, the Dev's gloves and all the same.
Right.
Right side, Phoenix is the last objective remaining on the map that red team can fight for, and it looks like they're going to indeed. Kind of lagging in the back here. I think they're actually linked up to the support. No, Aphrodite, yeah, is going to allow Athena to go deep. She's got triples there, and she's going for it. Bastet already super low. Serket not letting it go just yet. And looks like Bastet will escape, but the Phoenixes go down, and the final line of defense remains just the players.
Yeah, one player already down as we see JoJo down for the count, not able to impact this for another full minute. Titan's getting aggressed on. Titan is getting killed, and after 37 minutes of play, folks, the red team takes it. Now, losing Road.
Wasted Talent came in as the higher seed, correct?
Yes, Wasted Talent came in not only as the higher seed, Losing Road was not soft-seeded at all. Losing Road is a straight out of the open bracket tournament character.
And you know, we're going to be honest here, we don't know those 5 players.
Yeah, I mean, there are players, a lot of times you'll recognize players from Ranked or from Watch. I mean, we watch streams basically all day, or at least I do, to really see the new up-and-coming talent. And frankly, folks, those are new people to me. And I'm excited to see that level of play come out of some new players in the European region.
That's true. I think some of the builds need a little bit of work, but the way that they played their team fight, and especially Athena, I'm giving all the credit in the world to Athena for that. Athena and Janice really just stepped out from the pack there.
Right.
They're looking great, man.
I like the thought process, too. Again, you mentioned the builds. Builds are something you can learn.
Right,
you can look up online and learn it.
Exactly.
The thought process of Aphrodite in the late game saying, I'm going to link up to my support so I can use back off while she triple taunts.
And then switch the kiss immediately to let my Circuit go in?
That's not something that you can just look up online and figure out, folks. So the thought process is great. And with that win, Losing Road is going to go ahead and change their bracket as well as everybody else's, folks. So we'll take a look at the brackets. We see that Losing Road goes on to face the titans of Trig Esports. But the next matchup that we're going to see is London Conspiracy versus Team Pointless.
It looks like Elo Fishers were unable to take down Suntouch and the crew. England too strong. They'll go up against Team Pointless. Now, Team Pointless really believe that they deserve the top 8 seed here. They're going to be going up against a team that came into this extremely underrated. So Pointless has a lot to prove here.
Yeah, Team Pointless definitely, it's the uphill battle for them. London Conspiracy is sort of the favorite by default. So we're going to have to take a look at that matchup. And these are one of the matchups that here in the studio, you kind of, we choose which rounds we take a look at.
Right.
And this is one I had no input in, and I'm very happy that we get to see this because the London Conspiracy Team Pointless matchup is one that's not going to disappoint, and that's kind of what I wanted to watch personally.
All right, guys, we're going to cut to a quick break here while we get everything set. It shouldn't be more than a few minutes, so make sure to stick around. Next up, London Conspiracy versus Team Pointless.